Okay, welcome back. This is going to be the final part of our series and the optional part. This is the part where we add some highlights to the tree and a little bit more of a purple wash to our background. So we're going to start with the purple wash, and we're going to kind of do that how we did the original, the whitewash in the beginning. So we're going to start with our violet and a little bit of our aquamarine blue. And I took a moment in between these two videos to wash out my tray so that I have a little more room to play with my colors. And so yeah, a little bit of violet and a little bit of blue, more violet than blue, because we are looking to create a slightly more violet effect over the heavy blue that we already have. But we don't want it 100% violet. We want to darken it up a little bit. Yeah, that looks just about right. And then, like with our whitewash before, we are going to add some water to this because I want it to be kind of translucent. I do like the darkness that we have down here. I just want it a little bit more purple. So we're gonna make that pretty thin. I put about, I don't know, 6 drops of water in there. I'm gonna add another 3. All right, I'm gonna start with a very tiny patch of this because my base coat is dry at this point, so it's not really gonna mix in, so it's gonna sit on top. So I wanna start gently in case I don't like it, so I can dab it away with a paper towel if I need to. So I'm gonna start all the way down at the base by the tree and wash up, and oh no, that is exactly what I want it to be. Perfect. So now that I know I like it, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep adding this a little bit. And I don't want this to dominate the entire background. That's not my intent here. My intent is to just give some highlights. So I'm gonna go down at the base of the tree here, and then I'm gonna jump up a little bit, and I'm gonna sort of turn my brush sideways actually because I don't want it as thick as I had it that way. And then just sort of following into the curve. Make sure that you are not painting over your flowers here. I'm going in with the dry small brush to sort of spread that out a little bit and give it a little bit more texture too. Actually, I'm gonna go in with the small brush and do some streaking throughout because I don't want that really all concentrated in one place. All right, good, I like that. That is so much more violet. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing, going around on the other side a little bit. And again, down a little bit more by the base of the tree where I want it a little bit more concentrated. And I'm fanning it from the center of, from the base of the tree outward a little bit in my circle. I'm gonna stick a little bit under the tree branch here too. Create a little bit of shadow and interest there. All right, and I'm gonna do a little bit up in the corners too, because I wanna. Alright, cool. Okay, so now the next thing I wanted to add was highlights to my tree trunk and tree branches, so that it doesn't look quite as one-dimensional as it does right now. So we're gonna do that by mixing black and white together to get gray. We want it to be a pretty dark gray because it is intended to, you know, be just kind of where the moon is reflecting on the tree a little bit. And I picture this being a kind of dark day, even though that tree is so, or the moon rather, is so bright. So I'm gonna put a little bit more black into my palette here. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of white. Might add a little bit more white if I need it, but we're gonna start with just a tiny bit of white because like I said, I do want a pretty dark gray here. And I'm gonna do this with my medium pointed brush. Add a little bit more white to that. It's still more black than gray. All right, cool, that's better. And then once again, if you don't mix this up quite evenly, if you have like a darker side and a lighter side on your palette, then you can pick up different colors of gray to put them where you want them. So the moon is coming from the back of the tree, so it's kind of gonna hit the edges of almost everything we can see here. So we're just gonna go in with our medium brush here for the trunk. We're gonna switch to the little one for the tree. And we're just gonna kind of, I don't want straight lines here because if you think about how shadows hit, it's not necessarily like one long line. It's a little bit broken up by the texture of the tree, and that, you know what, still needs more white in it. Okay, that's better. So once again, just along the edges a little bit. And I want to go a little bit more where the tree meets the ground there, because that area would be kind of exposed and get a little bit more of the light there. I feel like the moon is a little bit more to the left, so I'm actually not going to highlight on the right side of the tree. I'm only going to do the left-hand side. And I'm not going to do the underside of the branches. I'm only going to do the tops of the branches, at least for now. If I feel like it needs something else when I'm done with that, then we'll go ahead and do that. But right now, I feel like the moon's just hitting the top. I'm gonna do all my thicker branches first because then I want to switch to my thinner brush for the inner edges. This one, because it's right in the middle, that's gonna get highlights on both sides because that is how the light would Alright, now I'm going to switch to my smaller brush because I want a thinner line for the rest of my areas here. Okay, it's going back into small areas over here. Oh, and if you've noticed that my painting is standing better, it's because in between this video and the previous one, I figured out that I wasn't using the easel built into the back all that well, and I fixed it. So now it actually stands up by itself, yay. I think I already mentioned this, but the pieces that are right in front of the moon, I'm going to highlight on both sides because that is in fact how the light would be hitting it. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to get every edge though. Just where it feels like the light would be. Stepping back. All right, I feel like this bottom edge of this side of the tree would be getting some light, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of light there. And come into that branch, or rather into that trunk. Yeah, think that's good. So we're all done here. You keep adjusting your painting the way you want it. Feel free to add leaves falling or other textures on the ground, whatever you want to do to personalize it. I hope you had fun.